What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, anytime the subject or the topic of super team come up, LeBron James denies that he played on a super team. And I don't know. I guess to make it look like to make himself look better is his reason for doing that. Everybody knows different, right? I mean, it was a super team. And so Kevin Love had this discussion about, and I don't even think Kevin Love was asked the question if they were a super team. I just think that in the discussion it just came up because of they were talking about expectations, right? People expected when LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving was on the same team, people expected those guys to win because they saw them as a super team, right? And Kevin Love accepted that expectation, that we was a super team, so we have to really, we have to win this championship. Now, people, players, professional athletes, and anybody that is competitive, they they want to be known as somebody who's competitive, right? And so that's why this issue of being on a super team is so, it's a big topic. It's a big deal because these guys are professional athletes. They grew up competing, and they wanted, everybody wants to be competitive as possible because it just comes along with the sport. And so LeBron James, he's going around telling people that he doesn't play on super teams and stuff like that. So everybody's contradicting him. And I think that Kevin Love, couldn't wait to contradict him because, I mean, a guy's a competitor just like everybody else. So with that being said, let me play what Kevin Love had to say about that situation. And then I'm going to come back and give some more of my reaction.
Here you go.
I played Dirk and Tim Duncan within the first 5 games of my career. Tony Parker put up 55 points on us. I'm like, this is the NBA. So I got
meanwhile,
blindsided.
you're like 5 minutes away from playing like a video game with Tony Parker, and like he's not that
100%.
Yeah,
exactly. And like I'm playing. That's what we did. Is we played video games all the time in our locker room at UCLA, and we're like, like I'm gonna pick, Bron, and okay, I'm gonna pick, the Lakers. I'm gonna be Kobe and everything. Then you get there, and it's like, okay, Kobe's putting 40 on us every single time, and there's nothing you can do. He'll tell you right straight to your face. He goes, "You guys don't have a chance tonight. It's Friday night, and I'm the show. I'm going out."
Who's the one player that you like more, tucking in, you're checking in, you get on the court, and then you actually see him, and it was like actually the biggest response you had, whether it was something funny, an inside joke because you remember being at a camp, or whether it was Kobe and you're like, fuck, this is actually Kobe.
It's Kobe. Not 100%.
Yeah,
Kobe. Because there's just, and this is no disrespect to Bron because he brings them out too, and there's that energy in the gym. You're getting everybody's best game. Yeah. Your whole mindset shifts too when you get on a team like that. I mean, we were a super team, and we were a team that was expected to go to the finals, expected to have the potential to win a championship.
Yeah.
But when I first got into the league, Kobe Bryant, it didn't matter if it was a soft Tuesday in Minneapolis, Kobe's bringing them out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a buzz in the city that Kobe is there.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So you hear what Kevin Love had to say about they were expected to win. It was a super team, but you also hear him talk about like competing when he first got to the league and he had to compete against different players, right? And that competitive spirit, it makes you want to do better, and it makes you want to raise your level, raise your game, right? But so that's why this super team thing is a big issue for LeBron James, because that's what the whole argument stems around with LeBron James when it comes to comparing him to Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Your competitiveness, right? And so they try to make it seem like it's about ring chasing. They try to make it seem like it's about stats and stuff like that, right? Or anything besides competitiveness, right? That's why LeBron James don't want to be associated with a super team, because when it comes to competitiveness, that's where Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and all the greats, they separate themselves from LeBron James when it comes to competitiveness. When you switch from team to team, like LeBron James did, and you want to be because you want to be on a better team, a team that'll give you a better chance to win, then that speaks to your competitiveness. And so going to team up with Dwayne Wade, going to team up with Chris Bosh, and then later on he teamed up with Kevin Love and Kyrie. That don't really, that's the one argument that LeBron James cannot win, and that's that competitiveness. He want to change the narrative, and his fans want to change the narrative, and they want to say that LeBron James was the first person to lead all these different teams to a championship, right? But they don't, they never speak to his competitive nature. Like Kobe and all the greats, they took pride in being able to lead their team to champion, where they didn't have to team up with people. They beat, Kobe Bryant beat everybody that was during his time. He won against everybody. Same thing for Michael Jordan. He won, against everybody. So it wasn't a situation where Mike or Kobe wanted to team up with people. And that's the one argument that LeBron James cannot win, is that competitiveness, right? And so when you have people like Kevin Love come out and say that, yeah, we was a super team, I think he feel compelled to be honest about the situation, which you got to give him you got to give him credit for. Remember, the other guy, the bald-head guy that was at, when he went to, and I know y'all know who I'm talking about, but the guy went from LA to OKC, and he won a championship. And the first thing he said, when he goes to the podium after the championship, now I got a real one, right? Now we have a real championship, because guys, professional athletes, they want to win in a certain way. They don't want no asterisk. They don't want no doubt when it comes to winning championships. And when you talk about LeBron James and doubt, and you talk about LeBron James and you talk about asterisks, he got a couple of those, with that bubble championship. People don't really take that serious. He tried to say that the bubble championship was the toughest, like the toughest championship out of all because of the conditions, right? And most people refute that. So they put, people put an asterisk next to that. He tried to say that he wasn't a part of a super team. That he didn't, I don't know what's his reasoning for moving around from team to team. But to me, it is competitiveness. Like, he wasn't, in my opinion, I think if LeBron James, I think he had enough to get his teams over the hump. Remember, LeBron James in his early years at Cleveland, he was doing it. He was getting them there. I think eventually LeBron James, even if he had not had left Cleveland, I think he would have gotten them there, because I think that situation in Cleveland would have made him improve every way that was necessary in order for him to get his team over the hump. But he panicked. And I think he panicked because he was, he wanted to be able to catch Michael Jordan to be the GOAT. And so he panicked. But, had he not left there, maybe he would have got 3 rings. And he probably thought that, like 3 rings, 2 or 3 rings, not going to put him in a conversation. 2 or 3 rings wasn't going to be good enough for him and the forces behind him, the people behind him. 2 or 3 rings wasn't going to work. So they decided to try another way with him moving from team to team, changing the narrative. Like, he's going to be the first person to win, to lead multiple teams to multiple different, to championships. And the fans, people who know and love basketball, they not buying into it. Competitors like Kevin Love not buying into it, and so that's the big problem that LeBron James have. That like the one argument that LeBron James wants to stay away from is like his competitiveness. And this super team argument, if he has that discussion in depth, it's going to lead him to that. And he don't, he can't, that's an argument he can't win because it exposes the fact that he left, when and went to, better teams and put, the best team around him so he could win. So, and my thing about that with LeBron James winning 4 rings, even though he basically played for 5 different teams. Now it's going to be 5 different teams. I think he's if he'd have won 4 rings in, like I said, 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 rings in Cleveland, he ended up in the same place, and he caused himself so much more headache with moving around, and he ended up in the same place. I think, because going down in history, I think people were going to judge him for the decisions that he made. He won he won 4 rings. He's going to get the appropriate amount of appreciation that he should get. But as a matter of fact, I think he may have even cheated himself, because I think if you win 2 rings in Cleveland, that tops what he's done as far as moving around. So I think he, now that I think about it, he may have even, undercut himself or cheated himself. So, but Kevin Love had no issues with like just telling the truth about what were the expectations of them because they was on a super team. And like I said, the competitive nature of these guys, they're going to want to, be honest about that situation. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm going to check you all out in the next video. Peace.